Beloved child, come close and breathe with me for a moment. There is a weight upon your spirit that you have not spoken aloud, an uneasy longing, a thought that flickers like a distant lamp in the night. I bring to you a message that is both gentle and urgent, wrapped in the tenderness of protection and the clarity of heavenly counsel. The world moves in mysterious ways, and sometimes providence arrives disguised as an ordinary encounter. You may not yet see the whole picture, but a current is running toward you now, and it carries with it an opportunity of great consequence. A wealthy man, one whose life has been marked by labor, legacy, and secrets, moves to place a measure of trust into your hands. He is preparing paperwork, passing loving stewardship, and his intention is to transfer power into your care. He does this not out of mere convenience, but out of a deeper recognition. Your blood runs through a line he has kept guarded, or the ties of destiny that connect you are older and truer than memory alone. This is a sacred nudge of fate. It is not a trap, but a summons to responsibility. Hear me plainly. Such an offering comes with both blessing and weight. To receive the sign of inheritance, whether of responsibility, stewardship, influence, or assets, is to be invited into a new identity. This is not a mere change on a page. It is a transformation of how you will be known, how you will be counted among those who carry legacy forward. It is a doorway into power, and power requires discernment. The spirit that guides you does not promise reckless ease. Instead, I offer you steadiness, counsel, and courage so you may walk through this threshold with integrity and grace. First, be still and listen. The noise around you will rush to claim your attention. Gossips, opportunists, and fearful voices eager to spin stories. Do not allow your heart to be hurried into decisions by panic or by the bright flash of advantage. Discernment is not stagnation, it is a holy practice. Quiet the mind and ask for clarity. You will receive impressions, not loud commands, but small certainties. A feeling of rightness when truth is present, a tightening in your chest when something reeks of pretense, a gentle unfolding when the path is true. Trust those inner cues. They are like a compass that points true north when you do not let fear twist it. Second, honor the human realities. Legal power over another person's affairs is not a spiritual toy. It is a covenant of care. If this man intends to place his authority in your name, he does so because he believes you can steward what he values: family, dignity, and the proper use of influence. Treat this trust with reverence. Seek wise counsel. Call an attorney who walks in integrity. Ask for explanations you can understand. Demand clear documentation and safeguards that protect both you and the one who gives the power. A giving heart is not a foolish heart. The bridge between blessing and ruin is sometimes an absence of good advice. Take the time to build that bridge with professionals who will honor your conscience and the law. Third, prepare your character. The arrival of power reveals who we are more than it transforms us into someone new. If humility is missing, power will harden the heart. If compassion is absent, stewardship will become calculation. Begin now to cultivate virtues that match the responsibility ahead. Patience when decisions are slow, generosity when resources are plenty, accountability when questions arise, and courage when others challenge your motives. Remember that the truest measure of inheritance is not the balance in a ledger, but the way you use influence to lift the vulnerable, to speak truth where lies would be easier, and to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Fourth, be mindful of family and blood. If this man is your blood, if veins and history intertwine where you did not know to look, then this revelation resurrects old stories. There will be questions about lineage, loyalty, and the wounds that have been carried in silence. Approach these revelations with tenderness. Some relatives will be relieved, others suspicious, and some will grieve the unearthing of secrets. Hold space for all of it without swallowing every voice. Truth has a way of healing when it is met with compassion, but it can also fracture when handled clumsily. Speak simply, listen earnestly, and make room for grief, joy, and the slow mending that belongs to family work. Do not be rushed into erasing someone's pain. The humane use of power often looks like patient repair rather than swift correction. Fifth, guard against entitlement. There will be people who circle like vultures at the scent of change, some with open hands, some with hidden agendas. Keep your circle small and wise. The nobility of your response will be seen in how you repel exploitation and extend protection. Do not let the sudden proximity to wealth teach you to measure your worth by the scale of material goods. Your identity precedes inheritance. It is not built by it. Carry your dignity, not as a badge, but as a service. You are now in a position to be a steward for the common good, not merely a beneficiary of fortune. Sixth, listen to the moral imagination of how you will use what is placed into your hands. Imagine 3 years from now. What decisions would honor the life that entrusted this to you? Will you protect the memory and intent of the one who passed power to you? Will you use resources to mend what has been broken, to start initiatives that honor dignity, to provide for descendants, for charity, for truth? Begin to think in terms of legacy, not consumption. Legacy is saved by choices that consider the long arc of justice and mercy. Draft plans, but be flexible. Consult others. Ask for the blessing of elders and mentors who know how to steward long-sighted outcomes. Seventh, allow yourself to feel the complexity of this moment. It is normal to experience joy, fear, resentment, gratitude, and grief all in a single breath. These mixed emotions do not mean you are weak. They mean you are human. Do not beat yourself up for having them. Make room to cry, to celebrate, to pray, and to rest. In the midst of practical steps, your heart needs tending. Speak your feelings aloud to someone you trust or write them down. Sometimes the act of naming helps you move past paralysis into purposeful action. Eighth, be watchful for spiritual tests. Opportunities that look like blessings can contain snares if they seduce you into compromise. There will be offers to shortcut legality, to conceal truth, or to make decisions in the shadow of immediate gain. Resist anything that asks you to betray your inner conviction. The easiest falsehood to accept is the one that benefits you most. Anchor yourself in principles, honesty, transparency, and respect, and let those guide every small choice. In this way, you will not merely inherit assets, you will inherit honor. Ninth, embrace the unexpected tenderness that accompanies rightful reconciliation. If blood ties are revealed, there may be old wounds that now can be voiced, named, and healed. Use your position to invite reconciliation, but do not push it. Healing cannot be rushed. Offer gestures that matter, listening sessions, mediated conversations, financial fairness where needed, and public recognition where appropriate. These acts, done with humility, can transform the narrative of your family line from secrecy into testimony. 10th, never forget the quiet prayers that brought you here. There is a life force of grace behind that man's decision to entrust you. He could have chosen others, but he chose you. Whether this choice comes from a long suppressed knowledge of kinship, a late repentance, or a vision of who you might become, the spiritual dimension of that act deserves acknowledgement. Give thanks, even if your heart is not yet ready to celebrate fully. Gratitude does not erase prudence, it frames it. Thankfulness will steady you in the long nights when decisions feel heavy. Beloved, this is where I leave you for now, at the beginning of an extraordinary assignment. It is a call to rise into responsibility that will shape not only your life, but the lives of many who are connected to yours. Walk carefully, act honestly, love deeply, and seek wise counsel. Prepare your heart to be both tender and firm. Keep your feet on the ground and your spirit open to the guidance that will come in quiet moments. In the next part of this message, I will speak to the practical steps you should take when the papers arrive, the prayers to pray when doubt clouds your vision, and the indicators that will reveal whether this transfer is a blessing meant to heal or a snare meant to harm. For now, rest in the knowledge that you are watched over, that choices are being arranged for your good, and that power, when carried with humility, becomes a means of grace. Breathe with me again, beloved. In this next portion, I will walk with you through the practicalities, the inner work, and the small but decisive steps that will steady you as this gift or trial arrives at your door. First, when the papers come into your hands, do not be startled by the paper itself. Be reverent toward the consequences. Read everything. Do not sign in haste. Let the ink meet your presence rather than your anxiety. If a signature is required immediately, ask for time. A courteous request for 24 or 72 hours is not disrespectful, it is wise. Use that time to consult an attorney who is unconnected to anyone seeking gain from the transfer. Let your counsel be someone whose only loyalty is to truth and to protecting the vulnerable. Ask questions that dig beneath the surface. What powers are being transferred? For how long? Under what conditions? And what obligations will be legally required of you? Will there be fiduciary duties, reporting requirements, or financial disclosures? These are not bureaucratic hurdles, but scaffolding for responsible stewardship. Know the limits and the reach of what is being placed into your care. Practical transparency will be your safeguard. Keep records. Record conversations with dates and brief notes. If possible, request that the transfer include clear instructions, letters of intent, or accompanying statements that outline the giver's wishes. If the man's intention is to care for certain people, to fund particular causes, or to protect certain assets for heirs, make those intentions explicit in writing. If he is of sound mind but hopes to simplify matters, his clarifying comments will save you years of heartache and misunderstanding. If he is not of sound mind, then extreme caution is required. Do not take on responsibilities that might expose you to legal or moral peril. Seek medical and legal confirmation if there is any question about capacity. Acting with care in such moments is itself an act of love. Guard your heart from the seduction of secrecy. Power thrives in shadows. Honor thrives in light. When appropriate, bring trusted advisors into the circle. People of integrity who will ask hard questions and offer perspective. This is not the time for isolation or for trusting only those who say what flatters you. The right circle will challenge and steady you. The wrong circle will stoke illusions. Pay attention to motives, not merely to words. Those who rush you, who promise to make things easy at the cost of truth, or who whisper that laws are merely suggestions, are warning lights. Respect those warnings. Attend to the emotional labor this moment requires. You may feel exhilaration and a strange loneliness at once. Others might assume you will be changed overnight. You will not. The inner work continues. Make room for counseling, spiritual direction, or mentorship to help you navigate family dynamics and the flood of expectations. A neutral listener can help you untangle which decisions come from your highest values and which come from fear or desire. In the hush of a trusted conversation, you will hear the quiet voice that always knows the right thing to do. Think also about public perception. If your role will be visible, craft a narrative of humility and service. People will speculate. Some will bless, others will judge. Lead with candor. When you can speak honestly about the man's trust, the care you intend to take, and the moral responsibilities you accept, you disarm gossip and invite constructive engagement. Show people, not merely tell them, how you will use resources to honor the giver and to bless those in need. Actions will quiet tongues far more effectively than any explanation. Remember, stewardship is a discipline as much as it is a duty. If assets come with management responsibilities, create structures that ensure longevity and accountability. Advisory boards, transparent reporting systems, and periodic reviews. Invite diverse voices into decision-making so that benefit is not limited to a single perspective. When authority sits in one name but benefits many, humility demands that structures be put in place to protect both the vulnerable and the integrity of the mission. Systems save good intentions from becoming private whims. Keep prayer at the center. Call upon wisdom not only from professionals, but from the source that birthed your life. Pray for clarity, for courage, and for a soft heart that does not harden under pressure. Pray also for the man who chooses to pass this on, his peace, his reconciliation, his dignity. Blessings move more freely when gratitude is present, even when complicated feelings are braided into the scene. There is power in blessing those who have made us part of their story. Expect moral tests that are not dramatic but subtle. You will be tempted to prioritize convenience, to choose the path that avoids conflict rather than the one that honors truth. You will be tempted to smooth over questions to spare yourself scrutiny, or to close ranks with those who promise loyalty. Resist those temptations. Shortcuts sanctified by fear will calcify into regrets. Choose instead the slower, harder route of transparency. It will yield peace in the long run. If blood is revealed, let gentleness be your first posture. Old wounds will surface, and people will want answers for years of silence. Offer what you can honestly and humbly. Your willingness to repair, to listen, and to provide what is right. Do not be surprised if some relationships shift irrevocably. Not every story reconciles neatly. Some threads knot, others find a new pattern. That reality does not mean you failed. It means you are human in a messy world. Be patient with time. Healing is often nonlinear. Dream larger than you think you can. As you consider the stewardship ahead, imagine initiatives that extend beyond your current reach. Educational scholarships, healthcare support, community rebuilding, or conservancy of what matters. Power used lovingly multiples. When resources are distributed to lift the dispossessed, when influence is leveraged to protect dignity, you will find that the legacy given to you becomes not an anchor, but a sail. Your courage to think expansively will be one of the most faithful acts you perform. Be prepared for critics and learn to listen with discernment. Constructive criticism can strengthen your plans. Malicious critique can sap your strength. When critique arrives, separate the wheat from the chaff. Thank those who offer wisdom and ignore those who seek to wound. Cultivate a core of counsel, people who can speak truth to you in tender ways and who will hold you accountable to the values you profess. Finally, never forget your own limits. There will be moments when the burden feels heavier than you anticipated. You are not required to carry everything alone. Delegate, build teams, invite partners who share your vision and values. The mark of a wise steward is knowing when to empower others. In doing so, you multiply impact and distribute responsibility so that no single human bears an impossible load. Walk through this season with your feet firmly on the ground and your face lifted to the light. This is a high calling, a strange grace. It will ask more of you than you expected and give you opportunities to bless more people than you imagined. Let integrity be your constant companion, humility your garment, and wisdom your counsel. In the next part of this message, I will speak to the prayers to pray in the quiet nights, the specific red flags to watch for in documents and discussions, and the inner disciplines that will help you remain a worthy steward of what is entrusted to you. For now, rest knowing you are not alone in this. Angels surround you, and truth will guide you as you choose to walk in honor. Beloved one, lean into this final portion as though you are sitting beside a warm hearth, and we are speaking quietly into the night. The arc of what has been offered to you: power, trust, and possible blood ties, is profound. It will change rhythms, open doors, and call you to new depth. In this closing counsel, I will give you the prayers to pray when sleep is thin, the precise red flags to notice in paperwork and in people, and the daily disciplines that will keep your soul steady and your hands clean as you walk into this new season. When nights feel long and doubt whispers, pray these simple, honest prayers from the heart. Give me wisdom to see what is true. Give me courage to do what is right. Keep my heart humble and my hands faithful. Repeat them until the words become a shield around your mind. Add this. Guide my steps that power given to me will become blessing, not burden. Prayer is not a magic formula. It is a posture that aligns you with the source of wisdom. Let your prayers be both petition and surrender. Ask for clarity, then trust the answers as they arrive in counsel, signs, and the steady sense of what is right. Invite the practices of silence and listening into your evenings. Sit with a candle or a quiet song and ask for a single clear next step. Often one candle of clarity is better than 1,000 flames of anxious plotting. There are concrete red flags to watch for when papers are presented or conversations begin. If anyone pressures you to sign immediately without time to consult counsel, step back. If terms are vague, if responsibilities are described in breathless rhetoric rather than clear written clauses, insist on specificity. If requests are made to conceal transactions, to bypass accounting, or to hide beneficiaries, refuse. If the person who is granting power seems subject to sudden influence, confusion, or contradiction in their statements, request an independent medical or legal assessment of capacity. If there are clauses that expose you to unlimited liability or require you to waive ordinary accounting duties, these are not gifts. They are traps. Look carefully for language that lets others override your fiduciary freedom or that binds you to secrecy without moral cause. If the narrative around the transfer is secretive, shame-based, or cloaked in threats, this must never be spoken of. That secrecy is itself suspect. Transparency is a friend to justice. Opacity protects abuse. Equally important are the interpersonal red flags. Notice if those accompanying the process speak with arrogance about bending rules or treat your questions as disloyal. Notice if affection suddenly seems transactional. If warmth intensifies only when convenience or signatures are near. Notice if family dynamics shift suddenly toward coercion or if long-standing beneficiaries are suddenly dismissed without reason. When voices encourage you to act out of fear, fear of losing favor, of being disinherited, or of failing the person who trusts you, pause and test the pressure. True legacy does not demand your compromise. Cultivate daily disciplines that keep you anchored. Rise into small practices that remind you who you are beyond titles and ledgers. Begin each morning with a breath of gratitude. Name 3 things you received before any achievement. This frames your day from sufficiency rather than scarcity. Keep a journal where you note decisions, advice received, and your own reflections. This record becomes invaluable when memories blur or when you need to explain the path you took. Meet with a trusted mentor monthly. This person should be willing to ask hard questions and to nurture your character. Build a financial checklist, regular accounting, third-party audits where appropriate, and a rule that no single person can move funds without dual oversight. These habits are mundane, perhaps even tedious, and yet they are the scaffolding that keeps grand intentions from collapsing under human frailty.